How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out tourist scams and safety advice for the Netherlands. This is a video by the channel Walter's World and priority suggestion by John. So shout out to you. Thanks for this suggestion. And Walter must be in Amsterdam right now because I've been noticing he's been putting out a lot of videos about Amsterdam lately. But anyways, tourist scams and safety advice. Going there next year. I don't want to get ripped off. Links down below so you can get to the original video. Yeah, I don't want to get ripped off or whatever, which I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what to avoid and what to not. You know what I mean? Like I can kind of feel if somebody's trying to rip me off a little bit, but of course there's going to be people that are going to outsmart a person, and I may just get took advantage of, right? So anyways, Walter's World, let's check it out. Thanks for watching with me, guys. And if the camera is a little bit laggy, I'm sorry. I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. It might be just because it's so hot in here today. But anyways, hopefully it's good. We're gonna roll with it. Let's do it.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And today we're going to talk about our tourist traps, tourist scams, and safety issues that you need to know about when you visit Amsterdam and the Netherlands in general. And I want to give you a little kind of tip to help you save a little bit of money when you're here so you don't get necessarily ripped off, but maybe overcharged. And that is, when you come to Amsterdam, be careful when you go to the mini markets, you want to get a drink or you want to get a snack, because what you might notice is there's no prices on things. So you want to get a chocomel and you want to get a stroopwafel and you want to just grab.
Hold on. The Dutch people, all about getting deals, saving money, being smart with their money, but there's no price tags. Like, you don't know what you're paying for it. I like to know so I can make my decision, because it's like, okay, this looks good too. I don't know which one to buy. Well, it's really going to come down to which one is cheaper at that point, right? And if you don't know, that sucks. Okay. Culture shocks, I guess, right?
Grab it and go, and you're like, oh yeah, a drink and a little snack, that should be like €5, no big deal. And you use your card, tap in, go out, have your receipt, get your notification, you just spent €10. Look, if you go to any kiosks, any of the mini markets, and they do not have price tags, do not be afraid to ask what the price is, because you might be surprised how inflation really hit people quite a bit when it comes to the prices at those establishments. So do be aware of that, because I have been nailed as well. When I've walked up, literally, I had a chocomel and I had a stroopwafel, and it was €9. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?
Stroopwafel, not stroopwafel. But those look good. Yeah, €9, that's a lot of money, right? This looks good though. I've never had the ones that's dipped in stuff, which, I mean, I can imagine. I've had a regular stroopwafel, so I can imagine, add the chocolate, add the candies. It's going to be good. I don't know what this stuff is over on the right-hand side, but it looks amazing.
On here, I put back the chocomel. I'm like, man, I knew chocolate got expensive, but dang. So one thing to kind of think about. So that's one I wanted to get you aware of. Another thing I think is important to know about when you're here, this is much more an Amsterdam kind of thing, but I would call this the tweaked out tourists. These are the ones, and I'll tell you, the people that are way too much of the fun time when they're here, like in Amsterdam places, at the coffee houses, they're not the locals. They're tourists, okay? And what I mean by the tweaked out tourists, these are the ones that have had too much. And that's the thing is, when people...
The ones that are getting drunk, pissing in the canals, falling in the canals. Yeah.
People come here, they're like, oh, I'm in Amsterdam, I'm going to have the Mary Jane, I'm going to have the space cakes, I'm going to have a great time when I'm here.
You can do that anywhere. You don't have to go to Amsterdam for that. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Here, and they don't realize that since it's regulated here, it's very strict, it's how you can do it, and they have people that can help you. But people go in, oh, I know what I need, and they'll get something, maybe a space cake, and they don't realize it has takes some time for it to kind of kick in. And then they go, oh, I'm not having much. They say, there's no good here. They go to another coffee house, have another space cake. Nothing. They go to another one, have another one. And within 45 minutes, they've had 3 space cakes, and all of a sudden, the first one starts kicking in. And then after that, the second one, and they are just completely messed up. That's why sometimes...
So don't worry, Walter. I know all about it. I've done my research, if you will. So...
tourists follow the canals here, so you want to be careful with that. But if you are going to be partaking, I don't, but I know people do that when they come here. They want to try it. I would say for your safety,
I mean,
talk.
I guess there is a lot of weed tourism, but again, you don't have to go all the way to Amsterdam, and certainly that's not what my journey's about necessarily.
To the people that are working there. The staff are there to help you to make a better decision about what you're doing or an educated decision on what you're doing. So be honest with them. Don't like try to be cool like, yo, yeah, I know my stuff. If you
I
don't, then tell them.
I I do, Walter. It's okay.
Because they will be helpful there. They're trained to help people out, so use
I like
that
the
because
architecture there.
that's a big safety thing. People that come here, they come here to party for the weekend because it's Amsterdam. It's a fun city. There's a lot of fun stuff to do when you're here. But I want you to be safe. So that's one of those things I really want you to kind of think about is, watch.
The way I see it, it's basically like you smoke it the same as people smoke cigarettes, right? There's no reason to brag about it or get in a circle or make like a whole big event or a whole big thing out of it. It's just like drinking, right? When a person becomes 21 here in America, of course, in Europe it's different ages, but here, you become 21, you're legally allowed to go in a bar and get a drink, this and that. Sometimes people just go crazy and go overboard. As time goes on, you realize it's just, you just drink it, you're out mowing the yard, drink a couple cold beers, you drink some wine while you're just relaxing, watching some YouTube videos at night. It's not like a whole thing, and people that smoke and partake in what he's talking about, uh, it's the same as that. You smoke, you probably smoke every day. You're used to it. It's the same as a cigarette. It's not something that you build up into this crazy thing. It's just an everyday normal part of life, right? And that's how the Dutch people look at it, even if they don't smoke, which a lot of Dutch people don't smoke, but it's still like there's no reason to just make it a whole thing, if that makes sense, right?
Chelsea, one, don't become the tweaked out, tourist, but also that you don't bump into them. Because another thing I want to talk about with safety is late nights, not even that late night, like once it kind of gets a little dark on Saturdays and Friday nights and all the people come in and the bachelor parties and all the partying people,
Yeah.
it can get a little interesting, especially in the red light district. So do be aware. If you see commotion, don't go and check it out and say, I want to film this for, Instagram or something. No, just walk the other way. Stay away from those things. Because, there's always going to be people when there's drinking and partying, there's going to be people that want to prove that they're the coolest cat around. And you don't need to deal with that. You already are cool. So don't get involved.
Thanks, Walter. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got a lot of drunk idiots anywhere, everywhere. They're all over the place, and once you've dealt with a handful of drunk idiots, you kind of don't really want to deal with any more drunk idiots. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's definitely, I'm aware of this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be wandering into a crazy crowd of drunk. If there's crazy shenanigans going on, you know what I mean? It's not something for me. I'm just trying to relax. I want to go over there, check out the Netherlands, and just have a good time.
Involved with that. And I mentioned about the canals and people falling in. I think a kind of a safety thing I want you to know about is canal safety. Like, please don't be walking around on your phone and like whether it's taking pictures or filming or just looking on your phone to look things up and you accidentally trip and fall into the canal because it does.
Can somebody please send me a video of that? Has anybody been recording and accidentally recorded somebody just looking down on their phone and just walked into the canal? I would love to see that.
Does happen. Now I'm filming here where there's a railing, so I don't fall off while I film. However, some places there's literally no railing. Like we'll see people parking their car about 6 inches away from the ledge. Okay, they know what they're doing. You don't. So if you're going to be walking around, do be careful. And that's why if you had a few too many Heinekens, you might a little stumbly. Maybe don't walk on the canal side. And
I'm sorry, Dutch people that like Heineken, but I am not traveling all the way to the Netherlands to have a Heineken. I can have that here. It's not even the greatest beer in the world. It's okay. It's good. It's okay. It's drinkable. It's smooth. But if I'm in the Netherlands, I'm not drinking Heineken. I'm probably going to be drinking Belgian doubles and quads because that's something that I don't have access to here as much. And in the Netherlands, there's going to be a ton of Belgian doubles and quads available for my drinking pleasure. So, certainly not going to be drinking Heineken over there. Sorry.
And that's one of those things that it's just kind of a, I mean, it can be a silly story, but it can be a serious thing. So do be safe when you're there, especially if you're driving a car and you got to park someplace that's near that. You know, maybe have your friend get out and help you park, or maybe look for a parking garage instead. So, not an issue everywhere, but here in Amsterdam, that is one thing that I have seen a few people swimming over the years in the canals, and they didn't purposely go there. Now, as Amsterdam is a capital city and a popular tourist destination, and people come here all the time, there's a lot of money in the city. That usually means there's quite a few beggars that are here as well. So,
is it a capital city? Well, it's confusing, right? So you got like, maybe it is the capital, like the regular capital, right? But it's not the capital for like the business and stuff, because that stuff takes place in The Hague, right? Is The Hague the capital? I should know this, guys. I should know. I already know the comment section. You're gonna remind me how I should know this. I already know. Beggars. We have those here too. You go to the wrong part of a city. You go to a gas station and you got 3 people begging you for a change and asking if you got a cigarette and everything else.
So do be aware that you might see some beggars when you are here. Back in the day, I used to get more, more aggressive ones, but they're pretty chill when you are here. Like ones have asked me, and I'm saying, "Hey, sorry, man." They're like, "Okay, cool, have a nice night." Like they're much more chill, but just be aware. Most likely, they're not going to do anything. But if you see someone that looks a little like uncomfortable to deal with, maybe go the other side of the street, turn around, go the other way. Yep. But it is one thing you have to think about, because I have seen quite a few people with mental health issues, having mental health incidents when we're going around. So do be aware of that. Not a ton, but just like every big city. I mean, whether you're in Chicago or London, these things happen. So I want you to be aware of that. That Amsterdam is not without those as well. If I go back to like kind of more targeted, scammy kind of things, I think this. I don't know if this is necessarily a scam, but it's a why waste your money kind of thing. That would be the taxis from Schiphol Airport. Okay, so if you're flying into Amsterdam, you're going to come into town, you're like, oh, which way am I going to go? And they've got official taxi stands you can go to. You can do that, no problem. You can do a ride share, you can do that. It's up to you. But I would say this, for the price of the ride share, you could probably get the whole family on the train to come into the central station, because probably you're going to be staying somewhere near here, and that might be a little more affordable. And especially if you're only like a couple coming here, or it's just you, like I'm here by myself this time, and I took that train because it was significantly cheaper than me getting a taxi. Also, I think it's not a scam, it's just something you need to know about, because people get really upset by this. If you're going to use public transportation around the Netherlands, you can just tap and go with your phone or with your credit card. But the thing is, it's not a scam when they nail you for a super high fee, because you have to tap in and you tap out. So that means when you're taking the metro, when you go down, you tap in. When you go out, you tap in. And that's easier because they let you in and out. But if you're going on the bus, you might need to tap before you get on the bus, then tap when you get out of the bus. Otherwise, they will charge you, probably the highest fee that they probably could on that bus ride or that train ride. So do be aware of that. It's not a scam, but it's something I know tourists get upset about, and I think it's important to know. Next.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying to do that, to make sure that we tap out and stuff, because you'll get charged extra. I'm trying to get the Flex Pass, to get that 40% pass, which I got plenty of time to figure it out. We're not going until the end of April next year. So, but that is something I'm going to work on doing. And also the museum cards. We're going to do that so we can go to like the Rijksmuseum and some of the castles that takes the museum card and stuff like that.
Next, I got to talk about probably the thing that's going to get you the most, or at least cause you the most pain if you have to deal with this, and that is bike safety. Yes, I know you don't think about bike safety anymore because you haven't been riding a bike usually since you were about 10, right? Well, here people...
Hey, I've rode one since I was 10, but yes, the bike safety. Stay out of the bike lanes, guys. If you're walking, it's just like a road. You're not going to just be walking in the middle of the road with cars driving around, so keep your ass out those bike lanes. It's basically a road for bikes.
People ride bikes all the time for work, for pleasure, for all kinds of stuff, and it's all over town, whether it's here in Amsterdam or around the country. And you, as a tourist, need to realize that it's not a lazy-go-lucky, happy affair riding a bike. They mean business. They're going to work and they're flying through. And the red line, the red road out there, remember, red is dead because you walk in the bike path, you're going to get hit and probably die. Well, probably not die, but you'll hurt a lot if they hit you, or at least you'll learn some creative Dutch cuss words. And that's the thing, is that people don't really think about looking for the bikes because they're looking for cars, and they walk out and bam, nail it. I mean, by the station.
Dutch cuss words. That's one thing I don't necessarily know. Duolingo doesn't teach those for some reason.
I mean, by the station here in Amsterdam, by the station in Rotterdam, I mean, I kept seeing tourists almost getting nailed. You got to pay attention. And sometimes it's not a red. Sometimes it's a normal street that just has a bike lane on it, and you don't know. So if you hear that ding, that means they're coming for you. Also, a safety thing, I think, with the bikes, make sure you're always wearing your helmet when you're there. That's just, bike safety. Also, I'd recommend, if you got a bike, lock it up. Just lock it up wherever you're going to go when you have that, to be safe. Probably a good idea to do that all throughout the country, because you're going to do bikes. You want to go explore the country, and you want to go to the countryside, and it's just one of those, normal safety things you're going to do. But also, one thing I recommend, if you're going to be riding your bike in to a city, like if you're, because sometimes there's like the canal rides, and you bike and you go to a town, you bike to the next town.
I wonder what that flag's red for. Because the Amsterdam, maybe that is the Amsterdam flag. I can't see the center, but I thought the Amsterdam flag was red, but it had the black stripe in the middle with like the X's.
I'd recommend is either put a tag.
Nope, that's red and white. Red and white. Is that the Utrecht flag? Why would that be the Utrecht flag if this is... Oh, wait. This might not be necessarily Amsterdam. He was talking about Amsterdam earlier. This may be Utrecht. I don't know.
Next town. What I'd recommend is either put a tag, like an air tag or something, on your bike, in a kind of hidden way if you can. But what I would do is actually take a picture of it so you know where it is, but also then tag it, like pin it on a map so you know where to find it later, because sometimes people think their bikes got stolen, but in reality, they just forgot where they left it. So let's look at some other safety and scams and tourist traps. Now we're here in Rotterdam, and I think I need to warn you about pickpockets when you come to the Netherlands. Like, most people know, where there's lots of people, and there are people been drinking, they're easy to pickpocket. So yeah, the red light district in Amsterdam is going to be a big pickpocket place. Yes, but it's not the only place in the country that has pickpockets. So if you're going around, whether you're in a very busy place like here at the Markthal in Rotterdam, or when you're getting on public transportation anywhere around. I was on the train coming down from Amsterdam, and they made a big announcement on the train that, hey, be aware, there is a pickpocket on the train that has already robbed people. So they were warning people on the train when you go around. So just have a heads up for it. Keep your wallet in your front pocket, use your, interior wallets, use the safe at your hotel. Basic tourist, safety stuff. You need to make sure you're doing that, because
if you pickpocket me when I get to the Netherlands, I will knock your ass out. Just saying, I'm not going all the way over there to another country for somebody to steal stuff out of my pockets. I will not be happy. That would suck. I'm going to be careful, though. I'll hide my debit card in my shoe or something. Actually, no, I can't, because I just told you. I'll hide it somewhere else. You're not going to find it, though.
Safety stuff, you need to make sure you're doing that, because when you travel around the Netherlands, you really feel really safe. I mean, it's a pretty safe country, but you do need to be aware when there is a lot of tourists. Now, another thing you have to worry about when you are coming here, and this is one thing you have to worry anywhere, like the typical kind of scams, the distraction scam. They spilled the mustard. They're having a bitterball and they got a little mustard on you. I'm sorry, let me help you out there. And boom, your bag is gone when you took it off so they could clean your shoulder. Or maybe it's ice cream, or it's something there. The distraction scam is quite common in all big cities around Europe, so do be aware of that. And I think one thing here is, don't think that just because someone's dressed nice that they're gonna not be someone that's doing this. Always be aware when you have that over helpful person, or when somebody bumps into you, or maybe a seagull pooped on you, let me help. That's one thing you need to take care of.
Okay. I need to figure out some Mark Rober shit with my bag then. If somebody tries to steal my bag, I need to figure out how I can just push a button and make like a bunch of fart spray explode all over them with some glitter and stuff. You know what I mean? That would be amazing.
A scammy thing I think you need to realize is there's a lot of touts that you might not realize are touts, when you're in a place like Amsterdam, because you'll be
What's
walking
that?
around. People, normal try to get you to come in, but then they'll have another tourist that is there working with them, but you don't know they're working with them because they're having to debate to try to get you in someplace. And it's kind of like the good cop, bad cop kind of tout system that gets you to come in. Don't trust anybody that's trying to get you to go anywhere or try to talk you into going anywhere because they're getting paid to get you in the door. So of course.
Okay, so basically, if you're American, you'll know what I'm about to say. They're like carnies. When you go to a fair or a carnival, you'll have carnies. That's what they're nicknamed, right? Carney, the people that work, the carnival workers, the people that run the rides and all that kind of stuff. And they're so desperate. They make a percentage. They make money off of a percentage of like the ticket sales or like whatever, right? So they will ruthlessly and relentlessly try to just convince you and everybody around you you need to be at their spot doing their game, shooting the dart at their balloons or whatever to win their prizes. And yeah, so you got to go in. It sounds like you got to go into the mindset of all these touristy areas. It's like they're carnies, and that's their job, which is true. That is their job to get you to come in. So if you have that mindset, I think that'll work. I don't know if you guys have like that same carny kind of thing over in Europe. Obviously, there's carnivals. Obviously, there's people that work at those carnivals and fairs and stuff. But I don't know if it has the same kind of a stigma around it or like this, you know. And no, I actually worked for a couple weeks actually for a carnival thing here in Indiana when I was a teenager. I ran a fun slide. It was cool.
To get you in the door. So of course they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. So
Yeah.
just be aware of that.
Yep.
Now another safety thing I have to talk about when you come to the Netherlands.
Super steep stairs. I lived in a house that was built in the 1800s, okay? And it was just like what you see in the videos of the Dutch houses, or of course in your house if you're Dutch, right? If you have the steep stairs, you know what I'm talking about. That house was like that, and everything about that house was built a lot like the way Dutch houses are. So I think what it was is I think it was just built by somebody that was Dutch or something back in the 1800s because it was laid out very similarly.
Are the stairs. Because here, the stairs can be more like ladders because back in the day, I guess
Yeah.
they got taxed by how wide the house was. So they made them thin, so the stairs had to be very steep. So sometimes it feels like a ladder. So I know I talked about the mistake of too much luggage, but honestly, for a safety thing, you need to be careful on these stairs because I've seen my kids fall down them and chip a tooth and bust his head open. I've seen my mom fall down them. I've slipped down them before, so do be safe because that is one of the safety things you need to realize that you need to take care of when you're here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, and the stairs that the place that I lived at, that had stairs like that. Oh yeah, I slipped down them too before. And that slipping down those kind of stairs is a whole different thing than slipping down regular stairs because you get it. You go straight down, your feet, your butt, your back scrapes every damn step on the way down. It's a whole thing. It sucks. Tell you what.
Now, another thing I think is really important, and this isn't just here in the Netherlands, this is anywhere, I would say be wary of anything that's free or a deal. Now, when I say it this way, I'm
Not always, because my neighbor just gave me a free riding mower. He told me it was broke. He said that he don't know if I could get it fixed. He said if I can't get it fixed, go ahead, take it to the scrapyard, throw it in the trash, whatever. He didn't care. I fixed it in 4 days. Had to replace the crankshaft and take the carburetor off, clean the carburetor out, and then replace some drive pulleys, and then just, you know, some general adjustments here and there, and some cleaning and everything else. But it works now. So freebies aren't always bad, but usually it's like, wait a minute, everything comes with the price. So if a random stranger, which this guy, he was a neighbor, he's not a random stranger, but if a random stranger comes up to me trying to give me something, you know, I'm kind of like, what do you want out of it? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to distract me so you can like steal my wallet out of my pocket or something?
or a deal. Now, when I say it this way, I'm going to say a deal or anything free when it's not in a standardized kind of like at a store kind of deal. Because the Dutch, they
Right.
love a deal and they're going to take care of a deal and they're going to
Me
get that
too.
deal. However, if someone's offered you something like, oh, I still have a little left on my ticket, you want to buy my ticket off of me, or here's a free gift, or hey, do you want this really affordable bike rental? I would be a little wary about that. Make sure you use official places to get your tickets, make sure you use official places to rent your bike so it's more of a reputable chance that you don't have any problems, because that's one of the things you might want to worry about in terms of a oops kind of scammy kind of thing. Because
Right.
that discount cheap boat tour ride might not be what you think it is. So go to the legit ones, not the random people.
So in my case, it's a little different because I have you guys, my amazing viewers, who a lot of you guys have actually offered to let me stay at your place or give me boat rides, give me a tour of the city, which I appreciate everything immensely. We do have plans to stay with a couple of you guys, so shout out to you, and you know who you are. And that is different, obviously. The viewers know me through watching my channel, right? Just like we know Mark here from watching Walter's World channel. So but if it's a complete random stranger, does not know me from my channel, that's a different story. Now I'm kind of wondering what's going on. What are they trying to get out of it, right? If somebody comes up and says, oh, whoa, hey, I know you from YouTube, I'm excited, about your trip here, and it's crazy that I ran into you here in my little hometown, whatever, right? If that person offers something, that's a little different because they kind of know me through the channel, right? So it's going to be different for me. I'm going to be traveling as a tourist, obviously, but some things are going to be slightly different than your average tourist. Your average tourist isn't going to be able to go into a Dutch person's home and stay for a few days, or have a private tour of a town gave to him by a resident that's lived there 40 years, for instance, or whatever. You know what I mean? This isn't stuff that's going to happen for a standard regular tourist. It's going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait. You guys are amazing for helping make it happen. And yeah, let's just get back to this video, but I'm just excited about it.
People that ask you on the street. Now, when you are here in Amsterdam, I think I need to mention there are a few tourist trap kind of exhibits, sites, museums
Probably
that might appeal to you, which I feel are tourist traps, but they can be fun to do. Like, for example, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but the boys and Jocelyn love going there. So it's a tourist trap that's a fun thing to do, but it is a tourist trap because there's Madame Tussauds Wax Museums all over the place. So you can go see these things lots of places. Also, another one you might see is Body World, or Körperwelt as it was in Germany, where they have all the human bodies that have like the skins taken off and doing different things. So you see how the body works. Or you might go to the sex museum, or you might go to, the torture museum. There's a lot of those kind of.
the torture museum, I guess, would kind of be cool. I did a video about it was a reaction about a torture museum that was in I want to say Belgium. I could be wrong, but very interesting to see the medieval stuff that they did back then.
Sillier museums, but they can be fun if you need something to do. I find that my kids have enjoyed those quite a bit. I mean, not the sex museum, but the other ones. And the thing is, around
Yeah, I would hope you didn't take your kids to that one, but
Amsterdam, there are so many of these little like touristy kind of museums to entertain you. So it's something you can do. I feel they're kind of tourist trappy, but I do know that I've gone to pretty much every single one of them, and the boys did like Madame Tussauds, and Joss and I had a fun time with the sex museum. So something to think about when you're here if you're looking for ways to spend your time. But yeah, they're kind of tourist trappy when you're there.
Of course.
Now I know I say that Madame Tussauds
gonna be pricey. You know what I mean? A lot of those places are gonna be pricey, and that's another reason why I gotta get some research done at some point and figure out, the itinerary, what we're actually gonna do. There's a lot of stuff we want to do. There's a lot of stuff we mentioned we want to do. We're not going to be able to get to do half of what we mentioned, probably, realistically, time frame wise and everything. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. But yeah, planning it is part of the fun. You know what I mean? It's not about the destination. It's all about the journey. You know what I'm saying, guys?
is a tourist trap, and there's other things like Körperwelt or the Body World kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean you don't go to them, because some can be fun. I know when I take my kids, they actually like going to these things. So it's not a big deal, but I just want you to give a heads up that there's not a big difference sometimes between some of these kind of chain sites. So whether you see it in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or here in Amsterdam or the Netherlands, sometimes it's very similar stuff.
Yeah.
The Amsterdam Dungeon could be another one you might put in there. Now, not necessarily a scam in the Netherlands, but something I think you need to be aware of is anybody that offers you a tour to see the tulips when it isn't the basically end of March through the beginning of May, because that's when the tulips are really blossoming. That's when you see the fields everywhere and it's just gorgeous. The Keukenhof here is open, so you can do tours then. But honestly, outside that time, if they're promising tiptoe through the tulips, yeah, you're probably not going to get too much tiptoeing through the tulips, all right? So just have a heads up for that. Not a scam,
Well,
but just
duh.
something to be aware of.
Duh, if you're outside of that time frame, there's not going to be no, it might be just dead tulip stalks, but the flowers ain't going to be there. They've been cut off and harvested by that point, if it's after May.
So if they're offering you something at the beginning of March, you might not see a lot of tulips, or it's in the
Right.
summertime. Go for the windmills and the seaside and the not rolling hills, because the tulips, they're probably not going to be around. In general,
Go to Limburg. You'll see some rolling hills, sir. You got to get out of Amsterdam, man. Get out of the Randstad.
I do have to say, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, significantly safer going around anywhere in the country
Yeah.
than a lot of places I've gone to in the U.S. For
Oh,
example,
yeah.
it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm walking underneath an overpass to the train station, and I have my phone out filming because I'm not worried. So
Right.
if that helps you feel
Here,
a little bit better about enjoying Amsterdam in the Netherlands, I hope it does.
here would be full of homeless in that overpass, underpass, whatever it is. But anyways, thanks for the shout out, or thanks for the video request, John. And that was a good video. I enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching with me. Do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much more than you know. I appreciate it. You guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.